up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in Kissimmee for the annual Mecum Auto Auction. Over 4,000 vehicles going across the block, but guess what? This particular one caught my eye because I know a lot of you would want to see it. This is it. This is a 2012 Ford Mustang Boss 302, but guess what? This isn't your standard Boss 302. This is a Laguna Seca edition. But before we get into this naturally aspirated, 6-speed, slick shifting Mustang muscle car, let's talk about what's going on here. The Boss. The Boss 302 first made its appearance all the way back in 1970, if you could believe that. The car was built for one purpose in particular, that was to go into the SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America Trans Am Series. The 1960s and 70s was really a heyday for the Trans Am Series, where it was actual production vehicles, Mustangs, Camaros, Challengers, racing door to door, and they had some big name drivers. Now, of course, that iconic name, the Boss 302, eventually disappeared. And being a 302, that's a small block V8, high revving, but in 2012, they brought back that Boss 302 name, and they did it a couple different ways. You had your standard version, and you had this Laguna Seca version. Now, they only made 747 Laguna Seca models, and they only came in 2012, two different colors, black and red, and this beautiful silver and red. So what I want to find out is, the Boss 302 Laguna Seca is basically the precursor to the return of the Shelby GT350. So should you be searching for 2012 Boss 302, or should you go a few years later into 2016, basically 16 to 2020, and get a Shelby GT350 or 350R? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Laguna Seca Boss 302 and find out. Right off the bat, you see that classic S197 chassis style. This is really where Ford was, I believe, for many believe, to feel that this is the pinnacle of that classic retro style. Now, at the front of the business, that's where you're gonna see that classic style come into play. Really love the way they did the headlight housings on these models. Of course, in 2012, we're not doing full LED yet. So that's something that's gonna definitely be a big differentiator between a Shelby GT350, say a 2016, and this vehicle, is that the Shelby's gonna have those LED projector beam headlights. But I do love the classic style. Now, working your way down, nothing fake on the top portion, but I am gonna have to zonk this lower corner. You do have some fake vent area. That to me is a zonk, especially on this more track focused one, but on the Laguna Seca model, you do have the splitter that actually comes out further. That's gonna give you extra downforce, whether you're on the track or your favorite twisty road. And it's not just about what's underneath the hood, it's about the full complete package, having that balanced pony car. Now, as we come across the front, I love the way that they did on the Laguna Seca model, the red trim all the way around the perimeter of that functional grille. The great news is that these block-off plates can actually be removed. So unlike the fake vents in the corner, these two block-off plates can be removed. That's gonna help flow more air. Love the way you have that classic tri-bar setup with the Mustang Pony, and then working your way down, of course, you're gonna have massive functionality. This is gonna scoop like a snow shovel all that air into the center area, but you can see that great width and that nice muscular style. We get up onto the hood, you get your bulge. Everybody wants a bulge. You're getting a big old bulge, and I love on the silver how it really just shows all of the beautiful lines. The one thing I would have liked to have seen is a Boss 302 badge on the bulge of the hood. That would definitely make a little bit more connection to the Boss 302 of the past, but still looking fabulous. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna get these 19-inch wheels. So just like a Shelby GT350, they have 19-inch wheels. This is a 19-inch forged wheel, machined aluminum. I personally like the red wheels. Let me know how you feel. I know Steven and I, we were arm wrestling. Of course I won just because I'm stronger, but Steven doesn't like the red wheels. I like the red wheels. Let me know in the comment section, are you going Team Steven or are you going Team Rady's Rides, Joe Rady from Rady's Rides? Let me know in that comment section. But it's a 19-inch wheel, 19-inch wheel. And then on top of that, I love the way they styled the machined aluminum. You're gonna have those 4-piston Brembo calipers. So we're not talking about 6-piston calipers yet in 2012. If you get a GT350, you're gonna have increased braking capability, but I do like the nice powder coated flat black finish with the Brembo name. Of course, you're gonna have larger rotors than your standard Mustang GT, and they reworked the suspension big time on this vehicle to perform around the twisty bits. There's even bracing underneath the vehicle, and then there's a special brace I'm gonna show you once we get inside, but definitely love the style. And if you're wondering, well, what's the size of this wheel tire up front? 255 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and it's still wearing the Pirelli P0 tires that came on this car from brand new. Now coming down the side, love the Boss 302 badging that they did, the stripe coming all the way down with that red, pops nicely with the silver. You are gonna get red mirror caps on your Laguna Seca version, and you are gonna get a red roof. Once again, let me know how you feel. I think it really gives it a standout look, but I'm sure many of you would be like, well, Joe, this would look better if it was all black instead of red. But let me know in that comment section. Love the way they worked the lower sill, just very simple, flat black. And then as we keep coming down the side, I'm actually gonna have Steven kind of swing past me, go all the way back, and then he's gonna come a little forward. So you can see from the back angle, we'll talk more about this wing in a second, but let's focus on the rear wheels and tires. So you're actually gonna get more rubber to meet the road. We got 285s. So this is a 19 by 11.5-inch wheel. Up front, it's 19 by 9. So you're getting a wider wheel, wider tire, because we're talking about, of course, rear wheel drive, 373 gears, and a torsion limited slip diff to help you get the power to the ground. I love the way the stripe goes all the way to the rear fender there and the way they finish it off. And then as we rise up, this is where we're gonna talk about extra downforce. So you are gonna get this unique Laguna Seca bright red rear wing. And then you'll notice, this is my favorite part, on the simulated fuel cap, you got the Ford name, but then you got the Laguna Seca name with the racetrack map. So if you've ever wondered, well, Joe, where's the corkscrew? You know, the famous corkscrew? It's actually right here. That's the part of the track where you're gonna drop about 3 stories from top to bottom as you go around. Remember, we go counterclockwise at Laguna Seca, dropping it all the way down to ground level. I love the way you have that larger exhaust, nice slash cut, oval opening, great looking flat black diffuser, and then you're gonna get that classic tri-bar style. But let me know so far, on the outside, are you going Boss 302 Laguna Seca, or are you gonna go Shelby GT350? But why don't we pop the hood and talk horsepower of this Mustang. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on this Boss 302 Laguna Seca. This is one of those things that on some newer engines, I get a little sad because there's so much plastic covering everything. This particular vehicle, feast your eyes on that intake plenum. So that intake plenum, larger in capacity to flow more air. I love the way it's got the Boss 302 name. That massive strut tower brace looks like it's taken right off the Brooklyn Bridge. And then another thing, besides the larger air intake, we also have a larger throttle body to flow more air when you step on throttle. And then as you can see, we have that cold induction air box to help draw in that cooler air, because at the end of the day, warm air robs us of horsepower. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, how much horsepower are we talking about? In this particular vehicle for 2012, you're looking around 444 horsepower out of that 5-liter V8. And the great news is, just going back to the 1970 Boss 302, this is 302 cubic inches. So really nice to see that connection to the past. I hope you know how to drive manual transmission, because that is the only transmission available on the Boss 302, especially the Laguna Seca one, is that 6-speed manual transmission. 0 to 60, if you know how to do the dance, around 4.3 seconds. And top speed, of course, is going to be a little drag limited because of the extra aero. You're looking at around 170 miles an hour. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what the Boss 302 brings to the table. All right, guys, we're inside this Boss 302 Laguna Seca. This one is definitely a cream puff, not a lot of wear and tear on this thing whatsoever. Now, remember, they made such a low amount of these, and it's gonna be interesting to see what it's gonna bring here at Mecum. But you know, we're comparing it to the Shelby GT350 and 350R. We know what those prices are going for, anywhere between $40,000 on up, depending on mileage, condition, all those types of things. But let's see what 2012 was like for the Boss 302 Laguna Seca to the door panels. So what you're gonna find is, and we're gonna have to compare this orange to oranges. So a lot more hard plastic being used in 2012. Hard plastic all the way around, a little bit of cloth in the center, and then you'll notice the door pocket, I can't even get a Twinkie in there. So you're gonna have to hold your Twinkies in between your legs, which is gonna be a scary thought. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I do like the way they have this almost like machine turned aluminum finish, the Boss 302 badge, and then as we come across the center stack, what do we get on the Laguna Seca? You actually get these Ford performance gauges. You got your oil pressure, you got your temp, and you got a digital display in the center. Working your way down, this is 2012. No touchscreen, none of that junk. You just got a CD player so you can rock out to Beastie Boys or Pearl Jam, whatever you got. You got your standard AC controls, so you can have AC and listen to the radio in your Boss 302 Laguna Seca, even though I would never turn on the radio. I would just listen to that naturally aspirated V8. This is where the magic happens. That's that sick, slick, shifting 6-speed manual transmission. You'll notice how the shift lever is actually shorter. They give you this custom shift knob and really just nice, crisp engagement. Flat gray. You do have, of course, the good old-fashioned mechanical e-brake. If you're looking for cup holders, they actually hide them. 2 of them underneath there, and then you have this weird opening the way it flips back. You could actually put a Granny Smith apple, and there's an aux jack in there for you. Now the seats, I love them. They are cloth, but they are Recaro style with the bolstering. You do have, of course, on the back over here, the back of the seat, we do have our Boss 302 embroidery. Love the design, nice grippy Alcantara material. Bolstering on the bottom. These are full manual for the passenger and the driver. And then, of course, I would show you the rear seat, but guess what? There is not one. So just like on my Shelby GT350R, rear seat delete, and I love the way they put that X brace there where it's visible through the back area where normally the seats would be. And if you were comparing this to a Shelby GT350, obviously 2016, you're gonna have more options for a touchscreen, especially you go newer towards 2020. You can get rear seat delete if you go Shelby GT350R, but very interesting to see what the Mustang was doing back in 2012. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Laguna Seca Boss 302. All right, guys, here we are. I feel like I'm in a time machine back in 2012. I love the way you have that aluminum sill plate powered by Ford. And then, of course, you're going to be doing the dance with the triple pedals. I love the way you have the aluminum pedals all the way across the zonk. No actual physical dead pedal, just some rug and a lifted area. Would be nice to have aluminum, but other than that, that's the only zonk down there. You can see I'm 6 feet tall, and these seats, they hold you in really well. They actually, the bolstering on the Shelby GT350 and 350R, if you get the Recaros, is probably even more intense than this one. So if you're sort of on the fence, this might be the better seat for you. Steering wheel, Alcantara wrapped, very simple. Just your 3-spoke setup, flat black on the buttons, and then you do have a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And guess what? We have a good old-fashioned ignition key with the Boss 302 script on there. There's also a red key for when you're going at the track. And then if you like analog gauges, you're gonna love this. They got your retro style analog tach speedometer, and of course, the fuel level and coolant, and then a small digital display. But really, this is where it was at in 2012. If you compare it to a Shelby, the Shelby's gonna have nicer steering wheel, it's gonna have a little bit better instrumentation, things like that. But love seeing the triple gauges, love seeing that bulge, but you know what? This car's got to go across the block. We're gonna see what it brings, but let's wrap it up from Mecum in Kissimmee. All right, guys, this is one of the great things about Mecum. It really is a car show. Even if you're not coming to actually bid or buy something, just simply walking around, there's such a variety of vehicles, and this 2012 Boss 302 Laguna Seca is one of those great standouts. But let me know what you think. Are you gonna go Boss 302, Laguna Seca? Are you gonna go Shelby GT350 or GT350R? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rides family. Of course, we had to pop Steven's cherry, his first Mecum. Show him some love in that comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.